Namaskar, dear devotees and friends. This is a wonderful evening over here in Chicago, very wonderful weather. So we will study the Panchama Veda as usual with this stotra. We'll begin. Tavo kathamritam tapta jivanam kabibhiriditam kalmashapaham Shravana Mangalam Sri Madatatam Bhubi Grinanti E Bhurida Janaha. We were reading from the English, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, page 912. It was Friday, October 30th, 1885. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he was talking with the devotees, and Dr. Sharkar has come, and he was Dr. Bhaduri, and all this. They were having a wonderful conversation. Now, they were having some fun with the Dr. Sharkar. And when the devotees, they meet together, they'll be chit-chatting and leg pulling also. So about the Dr. Sharkar, as because he has come very close to the devotees now, so they were having some fun. You know, the last Wednesday, we discussed the Dr. Bhaduri. He is a strong follower of Hinduism, a faith that God is there. But Dr. Sharkar is doubting, he is asking question. So obviously, they were mentioning that Dr. Bhaduri mentioned about it like this, that in the next life, you have to start from the beginning. That's because you don't believe, etc. So Dr. Sharkar was wondering, these things were going on like that. And suppose I begin from a stone in brickbat, the last time he said, and after many births obtain a human body, but as soon as I come back to this place, I shall have to begin over again from a stone or brickbat. So all started laughing. But Dr. Bhaduri said, as because he is not having the faith in the existence of God, and he is not praying to God, so obviously in his next life he has to start with the beginning. The Hindus, they believe Janmantaravada, the reincarnation theory. And as because the Janmantara or the reincarnation, so the karma phala also. So whatever karma that you do, the good or bad, accordingly you will get the result, and you have to either suffer or you enjoy. So that is the way it goes on. So he was mentioning in that way. So Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he was talking to Dr. Sharkar. I saw you yesterday in my samadhi. I found that you are a mine of knowledge, but it is all dry knowledge. You have not tested divine bliss. So to Pratap, referring to Dr. Sharkar, if he ever tests the divine bliss, he will see everything above and below filled with it. Then he will not say that whatever he says is right and what others say is wrong. Then he will not utter sharp, strong, pointed words. So that is Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, when you know the truth, after the realization, you become soft, because you see the same God playing in everywhere. It reminds a story in the Bhagavata. Now the Bhagavata, in the beginning, the creation, now the Lord Supreme wanted to become many, so he gave that job to Brahma. He first created Brahma. It's not Brahman, Brahma. So Brahma with 4 hands, 4 heads, of course 4 hands, 4 heads, that means the 4 Veda, and the power of Maya, he was creating different, that is the story. Now what happened when he created out of himself. So all the pure souls, all the rishis, but when he asked them to go and settle as a householder and develop the family life and all, they told, no, that is not possible for us. We are not going to do that. So this was going on. Brahma was in great difficulty, and the Lord Supreme wanted that there should be lot many people, different varieties of people. There will be good, there will be bad, there will be mixture, sattva, raja, tama, like that. Then Brahma was in confusion what to do. Then one day the Lord Supreme said, okay, let me try. So he chose one rishi named Kardama. He was a very pure soul. Among all those rishis, he was the best. This Kardama, he was meditating, and you can imagine the Hinduism, they never believed in the images of God. It was only formless consciousness full of bliss. Now he was meditating on the formless consciousness, but the bliss that he was getting a different variety, different type, maybe. And suddenly, in his meditation, he saw the Supreme Lord in the form of Vishnu is going with the Lakshmi. And that scene, it was so tender, so beautiful, so lovely, so attractive. He wanted to see that again and again in his meditation. But it came, and then it, like a flash, it went, and his mind now turned to that. He was going on trying to see once again that vision, but he was not getting. Then one day he was praying, and then he heard someone said within his heart, if you marry, and then you will see this, otherwise I won't. Just to see that beautiful form of the God, he agreed to marry. The rishi was not agreeing to. Then afterwards, this Satarupa and the Manu, they came and they requested the Kardama rishi to marry their daughter Devahuti. And Devahuti, Kardama, the first son that was born, that was the Vishnu in the form of Rishi Kapila. From the Kapila, this everything came. So this is the whole story. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is indicating that when the Lord, with all his beauty, comes to your mind, you see that beauty, enjoy that beauty, it has no comparison. You see the consciousness everywhere, you are all still, nothing is there. According to Sri Ramakrishna, it is dry. But when you see so many other varieties, different type of things are going on, and you like it. We can compare it like, say, the regimented life of the army or the military, the same type of, almost same type of exercise, physical appearance, the uniform and the routine, same thing you see every day. Then suddenly you get 1 month leave, you come out, you see varieties of people, same people, but they are having different colors of dresses, there are different shops, and not much of this. And so that joy, regimented life and the life of freeness, these two, when we compare, we can understand they also are very happy, but at the same time, when they see these, they're completely different. So obviously, we can compare like this. So Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna mentioned this particularly Dr. Sharkar. Dr. Sharkar is having the knowledge, of course, that the God and all this consciousness. But when he sees the God in divine play, that is different. He has not tasted, so he doesn't understand what is the beauty. And the devotees remained silent, because this is really, really a very high philosophical thought, and beauty of the Hinduism is this. Hinduism always offer varieties of things. According to your aptitude, according to your taste, your liking, you can adopt any one of it, and you reach the same goal. Otherwise, it is the same thing whether you like it or not, accept it or not, understand it or not. You have to follow the same way. So this is really very difficult. So obviously you have to understand this. Can you help them? So this is the way you have to understand. So suddenly Sri Ramakrishna went into spiritual mood and said to Dr. Sharkar, Mahindra Babu, he was talking to Dr. Sharkar, but he was addressing him as Mahindra Babu. Mahindra Babu, what is this madness of yours about money? Why such attachment to wife? Why such longing for name and fame? Give up all these now and direct your mind to God with wholehearted devotion. Enjoy the bliss of God. Enjoy the bliss of God. You know, friends, if we compare, we can understand that our goal of life is enjoyment. Our goal of life is happiness. So sometimes we think that when we were children, our guardians, they used to ask us to be study well so that you can become a doctor, an engineer, somebody in the society. But ultimately, when we grow up and then we find that no, it is not the position. It is the happiness that counts. Am I happy being such? If not, then it is worthless. Even after becoming a very famous person in the world, if I am not happy when I am all alone, I close my door and I am all alone, am I happy then? That is the question. If I am not, if I need all the time the company, then I am depending on others. I am suffering. So happiness is the ultimate goal. Why? Because our Creator is the source of happiness. In the Upanishad, again and again, we repeat that. Anande bakhalu imani bhutani jayante. From the happiness only, from the bliss only, all these people has been created. So who created? The bliss, the embodiment of bliss, embodiment of happiness. And that is the reason we go on searching for happiness. And we make mistake again and again. We think that if we get this thing, we'll be happy. Then we try that, oh no, it is not. Then again something else, again something else. We go on searching, but we never become happy. And when the people that die, unhappy person, because his desire was not fulfilled, he was not knowing where he will be happy. And they compare with a type of deer who generates the smell, because that is the thing that it is having. Smell is so wonderful. And having that smell, he thinks it must be somewhere else. He goes on searching for it. But it is from his own body. Similarly, the happiness within our heart, but we go search for it everywhere. And the Rabindranath, in one of his famous songs, Amar hiyar maje lukiye chile, dekhte tomai paini, bahir pane chokh melechi, hriday pane chaini. I think like that. So you were always with me here, inside, but I was searching in the outside. I was searching for you. And in the Hindi couplet also they say, मैं को कहाँ ढूंढो बंदे, मैं तो तेरा पास मो. Where you are searching me, my friend, I am so close to you. खोजोगे तो अभी मिलूंगा. If you are searching truly, right now you can realize me. पल भर के तलाश मो. Like the blinking of an eye, you can realize God. And what is that? Happiness. How you can become happy when you don't have any desire? You are always happy. The moment the desire comes, then you start crying, because you have to satisfy that desire. So Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, I don't know why he suddenly addressed Mohindra Babu. He was talking to doctor. Suddenly Sri Ramakrishna went into spiritual mood and said to Dr. Sharkar, Master Maharshi is writing, but the words that he said, Mohindra Babu, what is this madness of yours about money? Why such attachment to wife? Why such longing for name and fame? Give up all this now and direct your mind to God with whole soul devotion. Enjoy the bliss of God. Friends, that is the ultimate thing for the monastic life. The sannyasis, sannyasinis, and those who are trying to realize God, we also forget sometimes. We come, then Maya is such a thing. The God will immediately give you so many other things. You will engage into that. You are a very good speaker. You are a very good writer. Then people accepted you, appreciate you. Slowly, slowly, we started thinking, because of me, people are liking. That is a great mistake. Again, we go back to the same one. Again, you have to start. So that is the reason you have to hold on to God, or constantly you have to be aware that I am not doing anything. It is something, the power that is working through me. A great singer, actor, an officer, administrator, all. If the moment they understand it is the power that acting through me, it is not me, they enjoy everything without bondage, without suffering. And whatever comes, that is fine with me. So this is the teaching Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is trying to give to Dr. Sharkar. Dr. Sharkar sat still without uttering a word. The devotees also remained silent. Sri Ramakrishna, Nangta used to tell me how a Gyani meditates. That is, Nangta means his the guru in Vedanta. Sri Ramakrishna was having so many gurus, his teachers. But he is the Vedantic guru that he used to call in those days. And Sri Ramakrishna had a special relation with him, used to respect him and love him so much. As because he used to constantly put on the loincloth, he used to say, Nangta, why should you not wear the clothes? So, but Vedantic monk, they used to, nowadays also, they live like that. Everywhere is water. All the regions above and below are filled with water. Man, like a fish, is swimming joyously in that water. In real meditation, you will actually see all these. This is very important for those who are trying to follow the path of knowledge. This path of knowledge, ultimate Vedanta, what they think actually. They cannot worship God because it is only the He, the ultimate, because there is no two, there is only one. Devotees, for the devotees dualist, they have a God. But for the Advaitin, A means negative, Dvaita means two, no two. That means you are alone. To whom to pray? Whom to meditate? You are only thinking that everything that I see is nothing but the supreme consciousness. Sometimes they think that like a fish in the water, they are swimming in the water of blissfulness. That is their object of meditation. It is everywhere the same thing I am enjoying. But Swami Vivekananda, this is also before they go into samadhi or the ultimate merging. Swami Vivekananda, in one of his poems, he mentioned, ultimately it remains ami, ami, I. That means like the fish, I am the fish, I am swimming, I am enjoying, I is there. Though that I is not like our I, but still that I sense is there, that is separating you from that pure consciousness. But moment that also goes away, what happens? Then Swami Vivekananda said, Bojhe pran, bojhe jar. Only he who has realized that is realized. Otherwise it is impossible to express. To express anything, you need three things: time, space, and causation. You have to tell at this time, at this hour, in this particular place, and this is the reason I saw it or heard it, etc. To explain, you need these three. When there is nothing, how you will explain? So no one could say what is Brahman. Brahman is the consciousness, and we are truly that consciousness. But we associate that consciousness with this particular body where that consciousness is reflecting. I start thinking that this body belongs to me and the mind belongs to me. So me and mine. So as because this body, then the mind, it is associated with somebody else and they are friendly, so they become relatives, they become friends, they become the society. Like that we are associated. But am I truly this body? If we analyze, no, it is not. How can it be? Which body I am? The body that was small little body that is constantly changing. I am growing up, growing up, growing up, growing up. My bones changed, structure changed, my flesh changed, everything changed in the body and say, I? Sometimes jokingly some people they say, my great grandfather's umbrella I am carrying still. Of course I changed the stick, it was old. Of course I changed the cloth because it torn out. Of course I changed, but still I am carrying the great grandfather's umbrella. How that is there? Nothing is remaining. The stick has gone, the cloth has gone, then what is there? So like that we are going on thinking this is my body, this is my relatives, this is my family, this is my religion, this is my language, but actually where you are, which one you are, no one can answer. And that is the reason it is better to think about the God who is there. I am also there because I cannot go beyond my I. Only a very few people can think in that way. So Jnana Yoga, the path of Jnana Yoga is very hard. In the Bhagavad Gita also, Sri Krishna mentioned is very difficult path. Of course, that is valid path, but very, very difficult. Among all the direct disciples of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he taught only to Swami Vivekananda because he was only capable to understand that. So here Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning that they were meditating in this way. Take the case of the infinite ocean. There is no limit to its water. Suppose a pot is immersed in it. There is water both inside and outside the pot. The Jnani sees that both inside and outside there is nothing but Paramatman. Then what is this pot? It is I consciousness. The excellent way he explained the ultimate truth of the Advaita Vedanta. Friends, you know that in coming September, I think from 12, 13 and 14, in a state called Alabama, and the city is Huntsville, a group of devotees, they are organizing the North America Vedanta Conference. And the subject had been given to different Swamis, almost 12, 14 Swamis. So on the Advaita Vedanta, Vishishta Advaita Vedanta, Dvaita Vedanta and Samannaya Vedanta of Sri Ramakrishna. So that is interesting. I am expecting that it will be a very interesting discussion. So here the Advaita Vedanta that we are thinking of, I consciousness, I am here, I am in swimming, I am in the consciousness, I am meditating on consciousness, I consciousness, that only remains, but not attached with the body. That I consciousness, because of the pot the water appears to be divided into two parts. Because of the pot you see and perceive an inside and outside. One feels that way as long as the pot of I exists. When the I disappears, what remains that cannot be described in words? That cannot be described in words. Who will describe it? Don't think that as because I am a sannyasi of the Ramakrishna order, I am a follower of Sri Ramakrishna, I am telling like this, but Sri Ramakrishna explained the very, very subtle points of the philosophy in such a simple language, where even the scholars like Shankara and others, they were really, really very talkative, we should say. So many things they have said. But Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is so simple. What is there? Everywhere the water. Then why I am feeling that I, because I am in that water, but in the earthen pot. What is the difference? Because of the earthen pot. And what is that earthen pot indicating here? I consciousness. The moment that I consciousness goes, what remains? That remains. There is a consciousness everywhere. I am also consciousness, but somehow I got an attachment to this. So that is the thing. This is philosophy. What actually will happen? Suppose I break my eye consciousness, what will happen? Attantik dukkha nivritti. In Sanskrit they say, attantik, ultimate. Dukkha, suffering, nivritti, beyond. All that suffering will go away. There will be no suffering at all. Go beyond the suffering. What do you want? Happiness? How it is possible? Going beyond the suffering? And what is the suffering? The I consciousness. And how to go beyond the I consciousness? Two ways mainly. One is jnana, another is bhakti. Now Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is mentioning about the jnana. So that is in this way he mentioned. Do you know another way a jnani meditates? As because the doctor, he was talking like a jnani, he was a well-read person. He was very, very famous in those days. And the Asiatic Society that was formed in those days, it was Dr. Sharkar. He was the founder member. And he organized all those. And he wanted to spread the scientific knowledge among the common people, common masses. That was an excellent person. And he came to Sri Ramakrishna with that background and never knowing what is religion. And when he saw the Sri Ramakrishna goes into trance, and that time he forgets his body consciousness, and whatever the way he talks is completely different, that was something new for him. So obviously he was doubting, he was tasting, he was examining, he was trying to understand it. A bit of experiment was going on in his mind. Now Sri Ramakrishna, understanding that he has developed the likeness for Sri Ramakrishna, is guiding him. So you like to know what type of knowledge? All the 5 organs that we are having, we see and we try to understand something. We touch, we understand something. We smell, we understand something. We taste, we understand. We hear, we understand. These are the 5. Beyond these 5, do you think there is nothing? Of course there is. And that is the feeling. That feeling you cannot have, you cannot see the love of mother with your eye. Even the mother passed away. You can feel the love of mother. How it is possible? You don't see the mother, but you can feel it. Try to explain, you cannot. You may say some incidents to your friends, but they may not like it because it is your feeling. When I was sick, mother came, she put her hand on my forehead. It was so very wonderful touch. I felt that everything. That is your feeling. People don't understand that. Similarly, realizing God is your feeling. Others won't understand that. And you cannot take it to the laboratory to taste it. It is not possible. Nowadays, sometimes they are having some of the machines to try to understand what is there inside the deep consciousness mind, whether the person is telling the truth or not. All these machines are there. But still the love that we feel, or sometimes I feel that I am hated by people. It goes into hate. How it is possible? I feel. So this is the way we have to understand. This Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning. Do you know the another way Gyani meditate? Think of infinite Akasha and the bird flying there. When you are trying to meditate, you need an object, some place. Now sometimes it is the vast water of the ocean, sometimes it is the infinite Akasha, the space, where a bird is flying joyfully and spreading its wing. That is the Chida Akasha, and Atman is the bird. Chid Akasha. Chit means consciousness, Chit means knowledge. Akasha, space. So that is the space, all pervading. And the Atman is roaming over there. That is the bird. The bird is not imprisoned in a cage. It flies in the Chidakasha. Its joy is limitless. When I have something that binds me, that is one thing. But when I see everything is joyful, some people are criticizing me, but I am enjoying that because they are using some words and their expression. If you are not attached to that, you enjoy that. So that is okay. And that way, when they stop, they say, you are tired. Do you like to have a water? That goes to them. You are free. They are criticizing you, you are not accepting it because you are not. And who is enjoying actually? You. But if you react immediately, what will happen? You suffer. Friends, what is religion for? To help me to be happy. And we misunderstand religion with the rituals. Rituals is the beginning of the religion. It's the first step only. As the children, they go to the playhouse and they start their schooling from there. We also go to the temple, to the mosque, to the synagogue, and to all Gurudwara, and only to start learning about religion. And what is religion? Complete control over your mind. And you know when to react and when not to. And enjoyment, happiness, it is under your control. Nothing can disturb you. This is the uniqueness. Suddenly you heard that somebody criticized you, and that someone came and just reported. Whether that is true or not, you also don't know. Whether he reported properly or not, that also. But it goes into your mind, and then you became angry, then started thinking, what is all this happening? And that is the way if you act. Who is suffering? You. So shall we not understand these and react in that way? The religion helps us to be happy. How? By understanding the ultimate, the truth, and then applying it. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, in his gospel, he is giving slowly all these instructions. Devotee listened with great attention to these words about meditation. After a time, Pratap resumed the conversation. Pratap to Dr. Sharkar. When one thinks seriously, one undoubtedly sees everything as a mere shadow. Dr. Sharkar. If you speak of a shadow, then you need three things. Dr. Sharkar, the hard nut to crack. So, after all this, when you say, but he is a scientist, so obviously he is analyzing in a different way. And is really good. And this time he told the right thing. He said, if you talk about the shadow, then you need three things. First is the sun, that means the light, the object and the shadow. Shadow of what? Something. How the shadow? Because of the light. So the sun, the object and the shadow. How can there be any shadow without an object? And you say that God is real and the creation unreal, I say that the creation is real too. That is his problem. And on this type of thought, and the Ramanuja Acharya, much after Shankaracharya, he said the same thing. This reality of this is connected with the real, but this is also real. Madhvacharya, he said, this is completely separate. The creation is separate than the creator. Ultimate separation. You can never go back to God. Then problem comes, then what is the Buddha then? The Buddha became a human as a Gautama. Then he slowly practiced meditation, withdraw his sense organs, concentrated on a subject like consciousness. Then he realized that consciousness. Then he said that I am the knower of knowledge. So then he became Buddha. Buddha means knowledge. No one else can become Buddha? Some of the religions, they say, no, you cannot. That much. At the last messenger, the last, the son, the only son, like that, like that. But Hinduism says, no, this is a science. If you are boiling the water, putting the raw rice into that water, after some time, it will become the cooked rice. Wherever you do it, whenever you do it, whoever is doing that, same result will come. If not, then the theory, something is wrong. Somewhere it is missed. If I cannot become Buddha, that means something wrong with the Buddhism, the Buddhahood, not the philosophy of Buddhism, Buddhahood, that idea. Swami Vivekananda said, we have the birthright to become Buddha. Each and every one can realize God, can become Buddha. To become God is different, but to realize the truth is possible. So that is, he said, then how it is possible if it is separate? So this is the difference between Advaita, Vishishtadvaita and Dvaita. On what point they are different? Creation. So what is the reality? Reality is this, reality is this, there. So this is the way they differ. This is very interesting, the three philosophy. Hinduism is always free, so you can think in your own way, and if you are convinced, you can always come out and tell people. Some people will follow you, accept you, some people may not, but you have the right to do that. Here the doctor says, if you talk about the shadow, and very correctly he said, three things are necessary. The doctor says, how can there be a reflection without an object? Then Narendra, why God? God is the object. Dr. Sharka, Narendra was very young that time, 17, 18 years old, afterwards became the Vivekananda. Dr. Sharka remained silent. When the Narendra said, who is the object? God is the object, he remained silent. Then Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna to Dr. Sharka, you said a very fine thing. No one else has said before that Samadhi is the result of the union of the mind with God. You alone have said that. Samadhi means what? It goes and merges with the object. When we talk about the Samadhi, it is the Yoga Marga. Jnana, Dhyana, Karma and Bhakti. These are the four well paths of the Hindus that takes you to the ultimate. What is the Bhakti? God and me. I go to God with my love, my prayer. I believe that God is there. Right this moment I cannot see Him, hear Him, but I believe that the scripture has said, my Guru has said. So this goes the Bhakti. Karma, that all people, wherever is there any suffering, I like to go and help them. I don't care about name or fame or acknowledgement. I only love them. I want to help them. But That is the emotional way. Suppose you make it little philosophical and you think that I like to serve them because they are the manifestation of the God. The God, the poor, God, the illiterate, God, the suffering. I will go and help them. So doctors can really do that. And by that way they can develop this spiritual. They will be doing the same thing regularly as a doctor that they are doing. But if they think that it is not a patient, and sometimes in the medical students they will tell object, they don't talk a man or this is an object. So instead of object, if they say this is God and God has come to me in a suffering condition, I am treating him. He doesn't need my help, but he's just giving me an opportunity. You become humble, you become attentive, and you are serving. What you get? And wonderful happiness in the mind. I could serve him. After the operation, after the consulting, giving the medicine, you say within your mind, God, you came in this form and I have tried to serve you as best as possible in my own way. You are spiritual and you are practicing spirituality just like a priest doing worship, sitting in the temple, same type. That is called karma yoga. Dhyana yoga, you are withdrawing the sense organs and concentrating on one. Jnana yoga, you are constantly, every moment, you are aware about your consciousness. The body, the mind, that is related with all this because I am alive, because I am conscious. Otherwise what? Today, the afternoon, there was a heavy rain. I was not aware, I was in deep sleep. When I got up, I said, oh, this is very cool now. Then one of our volunteers, he said, it was raining torrentially for last 5-10 minutes. Suppose you were in deep sleep, what is happening in the world, you were not aware at all. And that means what? Your body was there, but your mind was not connected with the consciousness. So you were unaware about what is happening all around you. So same way, if you can withdraw the mind as we can withdraw the mind in our sleep, if we can withdraw the mind in the same way in our meditation, forget the body, forget the mind, and we go into that conscious condition, and we will have the eternal joy, and when we come back, we'll be constantly having that joy, continuing that joy, happiness. So Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning, you said a very fine thing, you have to merge that. Shivanath said that one lost one's head by too much thinking of God. Sri Ramakrishna is making, it's not a criticism, it's rectifying. The Shivanath was one of the leader of the Brahma Samaj. You know, friends, at that time it was a confusion going on in the Indian society because there was a very strong propaganda that the Hinduism is not a religion, as because they believe in so many gods and goddesses and they worship in the images. How the Supreme God, all-pervading God, can enter into an image? Even the Rabindranath, in one of his poems, he wrote that they don't have the life and they give to you the life in that image. Like that he wrote. So this, because that type of understanding. So the Brahmo Samaj came up to protect the Hinduism in a other way. So they never wanted to get converted directly to Christianity. They wanted to continue with the Hinduism, but in a modified way. What is the modification? We don't worship in the images. Similarly, the Prarthana Samaj in the Bombay or that part, then Arya Samaj in Delhi. So like these different Samaj came up, the groups came up to save themselves from the conversion. And some they were directly converted very famous personalities like the Madhusoodan, that is, no, that he became converted into. So this is the way it goes. Now Brahma Samaj, they were very famous. Most of the educated people, they were the members of the Brahma Samaj. And one of the leaders was this, our Shivnath Shastri. And the Shivnath, he was mentioning, if you meditate on God constantly, then you lose your consciousness. Here, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna rectifying him. He said, in other words, one becomes unconscious by meditating on the universal consciousness. How that can be? Sometimes some people through wrong process, wrong way, if they are practicing too much of meditation, they become, maybe sometimes, they lose their mental balances. That is their fault. They are not practicing properly. That is the reason. But you cannot say when you are meditating on the consciousness, you become unconscious. How that possible? So Sri Ramakrishna mentioning, think of it, becoming unconscious by contemplating Him who is the very nature of consciousness and whose consciousness endows the world and consciousness. And what does your science say? That this combined with the produces that, the combined with that produces this. Combined with that produces this. One is more likely to lose consciousness by contemplating those things, by handling material things too much. Dr. Sharkar, one can see God in those things. Now, Sharkar, he is thinking in a different way. He is not understanding what Sri Ramakrishna is pointing. Suppose you are meditating on an object which has no consciousness, what you will gain? You will become like that. But if you are meditating on the consciousness which is God, how can you become unconscious? That was the point of Sri Ramakrishna. He is thinking one can see God in those things also, like that. Master Marsha, if so, one sees God more clearly in man, and still better in a great soul. In a great soul, there is a greater manifestation of God. Dr. Sharkar, yes, in man, no doubt. But he is not mentioning about the great soul, because there was another philosophy in those days. The 18th century, 19th century beginning was a wonderful time in India, particularly in Calcutta, because majority of the people, they were going on searching for freedom. But political freedom they could not think of, because the rulers were very powerful. British rule. All over the world they were ruling. So we were not thinking that we will get the freedom. So how to get the freedom? Through spirituality. What type of spirituality? So they started finding of the places. So this way, so many groups came up. One group was, they started thinking that there are great souls in the Himalaya. If you pray to them, they will come in their celestial body and will help you. So that was also another group. They were thinking in that way. Sri Ramakrishna, losing consciousness by contemplating God, through whose consciousness even inert matter appears to be conscious, and hands, feet, and body move. People say that the body moves of itself, but they do not know that it is God who moves it. They say that water scales the hand, but water cannot means for that. In the heat in the water, the fire is the fire in the water that is burning you. Rice is boiling in a pot. Potatoes, eggplant are also jumping about in the pot. The children say that the potatoes and the eggplant jump of themselves. They do not know that there is fire underneath. Man says that the sense organs do their work of themselves, but he does not know that the inside dwells He whose very nature is consciousness. Dr. Sharkar stood up. He was about to take his leave. Sri Ramakrishna also stood up. Dr. Sharkar, people call on God when they are faced with crisis. Look at the points of the Dr. Sharkar. One thing, sometimes when I read, I become angry with him. Why so all the time he is not understanding Sri Ramakrishna? But no, this is the way the people should try to understand. Dr. Sharkar is trying to understand it from his perspective, from his point of view. If there is God, then why there is suffering? If there is God, then why different type of people? All this, the common doubts. Now he is arguing. People call on God when they are faced with a crisis. It is for the mere fun of it that they say, O Lord, thou. You speak of God because of the trouble in your throat. The Sri Ramakrishna was having the throat problem. He developed the cancer, the throat cancer. So that was very, very painful. Dr. Sharkar thinking the Sri Ramakrishna is now thinking of God because to get the relief from the pain. You have now fallen into the clutches of the cotton cedar. You had been speaking of the cedar. I am just quoting you your own words. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, there is nothing for me to say. Now Sri Ramakrishna understood that at this moment he won't understand. Dr. Sharkar, he was doubting. And doubtful minds cannot understand the arguments. And to understand the philosophical arguments, you need a subtle mentality, subtle type of intellect. When the intellect is merged with the worldly things, it is very difficult to understand the subtle points of the spirituality. This is a completely different science. One may be very, very successful in physics and chemistry, but to understand the spiritual thing, you need to understand many other things also. Because first thing, who am I? That is the first thing. When I say I, and I am proud of my thought, do I know any time when after getting up, God forbid, after getting up from the sleep, I may forget myself. Something may happen. So that is the condition, and I go on telling that I, who am I? This is a very, very subtle way of thought, but most of the people, their mind is so restless, it is impossible for them. So Sri Ramakrishna said, I don't have to say anything, this is not the time to say. Because Dr. Sharkar has bluntly said, you are talking of God because you are having the pain. He saw him going into samadhi. Where was the pain? He saw him that behaving completely different way. Even in the when they were tasting him, he went into samadhi. This Sharkar, he pointed the finger on the eyeball when Sri Ramakrishna was in samadhi. He wanted to test whether he is just acting or it is real. You know that if you take something near to the eye, immediately it will blink to protect the eye. But he placed the finger on the eyeball, it was completely still. This Sharkar did. Even then he was not convinced. That's why Sri Ramakrishna, after giving so much of example, when he understood that Dr. Sharkar is not understanding, and very bluntly he said that you are talking of God because of your illness. What illness? Dr. Sharkar stood, and then Sri Ramakrishna said, there is nothing for me to say. Dr. Sharkar, why not? We lie in the lap of God. We feel free with Him. To whom should we speak about our illness if not to Him? Dr. Sharkar is mentioning that if you are having the God in so intimately, why don't you talk to God about your illness? But he never understood the Sri Ramakrishna's case is completely different. He was having the illness only to judge the people, because that they come, the God, they come and take the human form and they live with the human being, and to show them what is the way they can reach to the ultimate happy life. So this time Sri Ramakrishna, he got married. Most of the time we have seen Jesus never married, Shankara never married, Chaitanya left his wife and family. But Sri Ramakrishna, he was married, he was living a householder's life. He never took the gerua, the ochre cloth. He used to live in the house, but even then he was completely free from any association. And he was having so much of occult power, he could read the minds of other people. And about this illness, that was also for him, it was nothing. If those who have read the biography of Sri Ramakrishna, they know that one day he was lying on the bed, and in such a condition, he needed a person to turn him next side, because he was so weak that he could not do that himself. And now, suddenly the Ma Sharadamani Devi saw that man, so sick, jumped up, ran down, still those steps are there. If you go to the Baranagar Mott and Baranagar, the Uddan Bhatti, if you can see that, Kashipur Uddan Bhatti, you can see that. It is so difficult for a real normal person to climb that. And he jumped on that, ran and crossed the big field, and afterwards came back the same way, lied down on the bed. When the Ma Sharada Devi observed that and not believing herself, she came and told, "Is it you who got up and ran and came back?" Then Sri Ramakrishna, "Don't tell anyone." Have you noticed it? Don't tell anyone. I heard the Naren and other young people, they are planning to go to the dead tree to collect the juice and to drink it. The young people, they enjoy it. And I found that there is a poisonous snake. So I went and drove the snake out, so there is no accident. How will you explain that? If you don't believe, no question. But if you have the faith, then how will you explain it? He was just showing it. Why? Because the people, those who have doubt about God, oh, look at this man, as they claim that he is a divine man, but he himself is suffering, so we need not to go to him. God means that he will give me a healthy life, everything successful, business should be fine. That is a different type of devotee. Chaturbidha bhajante mam jana, artha jigyashu artharti jnani cha bharatashyaba, in the Bhagavad Gita. Friends, we will conclude by saying this. One must read the biography of Sri Ramakrishna. If possible, that actual original, the biography, the great master, written by his direct disciple, Swami Ishatmananda. It's an unique way he has written, and he explained each and everything over there. Then only we will understand he was not human, he was God himself in a human form in this modern age. And if we can understand that, we are blessed. Thank you, friends, and next Wednesday we again will meet.
Abhishek Banerjee is asking, Swamiji, what are your top 5 favorite spiritual books? Top 5 spiritual books.
My?
Yes.
First, that is the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. And then, of course, the Bhagavad Gita. And the third will be, in my list, The Life of Ma Sharadamani Devi, written by Swami Gambhiranandaji. Excellent book. And Swami Vivekananda's biography, of course, the fourth. And the complete works of Vivekananda is my fifth one. Thank you.
Second question is, can you please explain the difference between Advaita and Visishtadvaita?
See, Advaita, in a very simple way we can say, you can understand if you explain the meaning, A means negative, no. Dvaita means two, no two. What remains? One. So there is no God, there is no me, there is nothing but consciousness. That is their view. Then who created consciousness? Out of what he has created? Out of consciousness. What he has created? Consciousness. So what we are? Nothing but consciousness in different forms. How you will explain that? Like this, the different lights, the fan, the microphone, and all they are different forms, different sizes, different names, different activity, but in reality they are all electricity and nothing else. If the electricity is not there, they are not anything. Similarly, consciousness is taking different names, different forms, doing different activity, but in reality they are consciousness. This is the Advaita. Vishishta Advaita, qualified monism, they say, of course it is true, but we are separate from that. Advaita said we are not separate, no question of separation. But they say we are separate. Why? Because we think ourselves, and there are many other things are there. And the example that they give, that the fire is burning, fire is the main source, but from the fire sparks are coming out. They are also having the properties of the fire, but they are separate from the actual fire. So same way we, the Jivatma, are separate from the Paramatma. So Vishishta Advaita. Thank you.
Bob is asking, Ramakrishna had Swami Vivekananda read the Atharva Veda out loud to him. Is it of some value to normal devotees?
Of course. Actually, he asked him to read that Yoga Vasishta. Yoga Vasishta is the Vedantic book. And in the Vedanta, they are very wonderfully mentioned that you are not this, etc., etc., the Yoga Vasishta. And of course, in the Atharva Veda, there are many things about our this present day life, human life. So if you can read Atharva Veda, it's helpful. Thank you.
Samir Kumar Dey is asking, I shall remain indebted upon listening to your speech that purifies one's mind. Can you give me some advice on how to aim my spiritual life at divine thinking?
Shami Babu, you know that it is the thought only. When we think that I am this, you become like that. If you think in the other way, you become like that. We are actually made of our thoughts. The way you think, that you become. Did you notice some people sometimes they behave very peculiarly and we call them mad? They think others are mad. But actually, we are thinking, why? He is not thinking in our own way. So the whole world is thinking that he is correct and others are not. Why? The thinking. So the best way to go beyond all these controversies is to follow the words of a great soul, and where you will find the best mind like Sri Ramakrishna. So Sri Ramakrishna was not having any personal agenda. He only said all this out of love. And he was not also saying this only for a group of people, only Bengalis, only Indians, only Hindus, nothing. Each and every human being, those who are suffering because of different reasons, if they read Sri Ramakrishna, they will get the answer. So if you read the biography of Sri Ramakrishna, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, contemplate constantly on that, and if you like to deepen your spirituality, take the initiation from a Ramakrishna mission, the Guru, and go on repeating the mantra that will be given to you with the coupled of prayer. If you can do that, you will feel that you are free from all these bondages and a wonderful peace will come. But I have to sincerely do that. Thank you.
Last question. How does Thakur explain going to God for Abhay, is going to God for Abhay, worldly desire and bondage, since we also ask Ma for help in worldly life in this path.
See, that is Abhay means fearless, right? If you are mentioning that. So I am going to be fearless because I don't have any fear. For the monks, as because they don't have any family, they don't have any responsibility, so only thing their life, the death and leaving. These are the only thing for them. They may be like little bit of the courageous people. I don't care about death, whether it is coming after 5 years or today, that doesn't matter. So if they can go like that, but a householder cannot. He is committed to so many other things. He has his family. He has to look after them and their future too. And to see that children are stable and they are well off, the educated and settled. So all these responsibilities, that is the reason the Hinduism they say Swadharma. If you are performing your original, your own responsibility with a mind of dedication, then you are free. As I was giving the example, if you have heard my talk today, if the doctor is serving a patient thinking, God has come to me in the form of a patient. So I am serving God, not a patient, serving God. So you are cooking. I am cooking for God. Think of the Jagannath Mandir cooks. They are also cooks. They are also using the sugar and the salt and other things and cooking. But they think I am cooking for the Jagannath and I am pure. People should not touch me like that, like that. When you are in the kitchen and thinking that I am cooking for God and giving it to your father, giving it to your mother, giving it to your family, and they are, of course, in relation, different relation, but actually they are gods. I have cooked for the God. You are practicing spirituality. So transforming the day-to-day work as a spiritual practice just by thinking that you are doing it for God. In the beginning you may think is it possible the ordinary thing that I am doing and I am offering to God? But with a faith if you do that, then whatever you do, whatever you think, all become nothing but worship. So that is the ultimate thing in the dualist path. I do everything for God and for nothing else. And then you get completely free. Whether people appreciate you or not, it doesn't matter to you because you are inside very happy. I have served my God in this way. Thank you, friends. So let us chant this pranam mantra and we conclude. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai Ishavataram parameshamidhyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.